So, welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I am Morrow, your storyteller for today, and with me I have some RPG horror stories. By the way, you probably heard of the critically acclaimed video game Baldur's Gate 3 coming out. I was thinking of getting a few players from my D&D party, maybe the artificer or the druid that I mentioned last video, and maybe play some Baldur's Gate as our characters. I think that'd be kind of fun. What do y'all think? Anyway, let's get to the very first story for today. I am scared of one of my players. I'm playing D&D homebrew adventure set in a steampunk zombie world where all males 20 to 21 years old, and the campaign started 6 months ago. At first it was very fun to play, but then I started noticing how one of the other players was a little strange and sadistic, and after more sessions he seemed to be literally psychopath. He was a Warforged bard. In one session, we defeated a Drider boss, and the bard said that he wanted to... YouTube, can I say that? No? He wanted to hump it. The DM said it wasn't possible, so the player decapitated the Drider head and said that he will take it with him forever, so he will have sex with it every time he wants. So for some sessions, we had the Drider head with us, until one day the bard's player wasn't there at this session. So the other player took the head to use it as a ball and play soccer with. Okay, that's less messed up. Still messed up, at least they're not having sex with it. I suggested that we should find a place to bury, but the other player said that I should find some pussy first. What? What? Hold on, what? Is that to the DM or to other players or what? That's such a weird... That's such a weird response. It just saw out of nowhere. Sorry. Like, I don't know if the players try to be like a tough guy or something, but God, it sounds benign. It sounds so dumb. What is this response, dude? This gotta be a joke, right? This has to be fake. Some months later, the bard died. The charge to barbarians, even if he was alone, so the player made a female tabaxi character. It became even more problematic because he started writing on the group chat, my character be like, and then sending uncensored furry porn, with everyone laughing. I told him to stop because I wasn't comfortable with it, but the other players started mocking me and sending me pics of black naked men kissing. Your party sounds kinda toxic? Are they doing that to like be toxic or ironic? I'm so confused. Are they being ironic? Or are they being toxic or both? What? I don't know what to do anymore. Should I leave the campaign? Try to kill the bard pushing it down a mountain, but he only broke an arm. Because it was a Warforged, our artificer created for him a gun arm, which the bard used to shoot a freaking child during an infiltration mission. I argued that it was a terrible and wrong thing to do, but then a half-orc barbarian said that he had the same age of the child because orcs age way faster than humans, so it wasn't a big problem for him. Yeah, I think you should probably leave the party. I don't think these people are really fun to play with. DM, I think the only thing you got wrong is that it's not the Warforged that's a problem. I think the rest of the players are a problem. The whole party, all your players are a problem. Not only are they supporting the decision of the Warforged's making, they're playing along with it and saying like, oh, killing a child, it's okay because orcs are the same age, it's fine. Having sex with a creature's head or kicking around like a soccer ball, that's completely fine, let's do that. Not only does the one player suck, all your players suck apparently. Yeah, leave them, get out where you can. Joe's gas station. First of all, I'd like to add in a trigger warning for the following: excessive violence, in-game sexual assault, in-game racial bigotry, glorifying domestic terrorism. If this bothers any of you, I recommend you read something else, and I won't blame you for that. Second, this exact game story was uploaded on here before by another player under the title of The Dreaded Gas Station, but it looks like they got deleted with the player, so if any of you think this looks familiar, it's likely from that. This is my first RPG horror story too, so my bad if I suck at telling it, but I did follow all the rules of the sidebar, so let's get into it. This starts in a Boy Scout troop. For context on how old we all were, we're all about 13 to 14, which at the time only had 2 small RPGs going on around 2018. A Choose Your Own Adventure PvP game ran by Old DM, and a Jurassic Park themed one by Dynaman. Eventually, Old DM aged out of the scout troop, leaving only Dynaman to host, which was still fun. That's when Anatolia joined right before 2019. Anatolia can be best described as someone who can't ever really admit they're wrong and will always take an opportunity when he sees it. Anatolia saw that a lot of people missed ODM's PvP-based game and came up with their own Joe's Gas Station. Joe's Gas Station was apparently inspired by Death Road to Canada, which I never played. So I can't speak for that, but you spawn in a rural town next to the titular location with a pocket knife and a potato, which you could use to summon a random item or helping NPC, etc. Think of it like a Mario Kart item box, but insanely rigged. Everything in the game was. If Anatolia didn't like you, he would make the game just unfun for you in the worst way possible before you died. If he did, he'd make it blatantly in your favor until he suddenly found someone he liked more, which made it completely luck-based sometimes, even if you were on his good side. So the goal was to kill everyone else, Battle Royale style. Last one standing alive and not being in the hospital won the game. Once everyone left the gas station, combat would begin and it was every man for himself. Combat was rigged too. Guns overheating and exploding, knives somehow flipping and stabbing yourself, Pokemon you own attacking you, etc. The game had no plotline, just it being hosted over and over again with fake promises of lore that were made up at the spot at best and didn't even exist sometimes. There was also a self-insert DMPC of Anatolia, which everyone hated. Even the die-hard fans that somehow existed. Guns overheating knives on what Pokemon? Compelling, I'm already gripped. I want to see more, I want to see what happens. The map was extremely small. We had a few locations, but going into detail would be useless. A lot were just filler with more horrible things, like gun store ran by a racial stereotype who couldn't speak English properly, which stayed in the game until the very end. The entire meta would usually be stocking up at Walmart and hiding at a Taco Bell. I think the hospital though deserves its own section just because of how freaking bad it was. The premise of it was stolen from Awful Hospital at SCP-217 with Anatolia's twisted porn addiction mixed in. So if you got injured by another player, NPC, or one of your own actions, just somehow hurt yourself for whatever dumb reason, you'd be sent here. Here you had robot nurses that would turn into sex robots and would relentlessly prick you with strap-ons. I wish I was joking. There was a basement where you could join a robo church at a top floor with the hospital's history guarded by a robot gorilla, which Anatolia encouraged people to explore with see the lore, but no one ever did except for one person who gave up after trying over and over, saying that he'd seen enough after Anatolia on a spot made up some dumb lore about Cookie Monster stolen from another game that happened when it started to decline, after he had to bribe Anatolia with Swedish fish to even get that far. This sounds like a really bad Futurama porn parody for some reason. I don't know why. This sounds so bizarre and confusing. I think anybody saying would leave. I mean, I guess they kind of stuck around because like, well, nobody else is running games. One of you could choose a game to run. One of you pick up from where the other guy left off and now do this weird thing. This sounds like a Futurama parody fanfiction. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like a Futurama porn parody fanfiction. I don't know why Futurama. Don't ask. It just, that's the first thing that comes to my head. Anatolia would also host spin-offs which involved you trying to escape the Alaska from a zombie horde, which suddenly would end up with a TPK with no warning. And one time, one based around Columbine, which was extremely awful. Jesus Christ. Thank God that ended up causing some of the scouts to talk with the scoutmaster, which caused Anatolia to have a private conference about his behavior. Sadly, I don't think this really changed Anatolia's mind about it, but he never hosted anything based around that again. Good, because that's awful. Why are you still playing with him? It sounds terrible. He sounds awful to be around. He sounds like not a pleasant person in general. Like seriously, he sounds like his creativity is like porn or something awful or something dumb. And that's it. That's literally the entire inspiration that comes from any of his games. Why are you playing with Anatolia? Why? Just somebody else host. Or, I don't know, play video games or something. I don't know. For some reason, the majority of the scouts at the time loved Joe's Gas Station. I generally do not know why. I think the appeal of how edgy and challenging it was compared to old DMs and Dynamans. The challenge being dumb luck. Dynaman himself tried to host RPGs, still doing this, but Anatolia would start games when Dynaman was running his, which universally swayed other scouts to it. This left me and Homer to play Dynamans. Homer himself is probably the second most important person in the story. Homer wasn't very wise, but had good intentions, and quit Joe's Gas Station permanently. I'd say he is more of an anti-hero than a hero, since his actions are questionable as well, but not as vile as Anatolia's. So Homer created his own RPG, Wish, with the premise of nothing being rigged and that you could wish for anything in a similar battle royale mode, with rules like no wishing for the players to die and stuff. Wish wasn't really well made, but it was well loved since it allowed you to do anything you wanted to and actually had a luck-based system that wasn't rigged. You drew cards and the higher number the better. Anatolia crashed a few games of Wish, but it quickly became clear that Wish was paving the way for other RPGs, including new ones from Dynaman and other people like James, which Homer encouraged by canceling his Wish game to play instead. This caused Joe's Gas Station to die mid to late 2019. But Anatolia claimed he played it with friends at school still, which could have been a lie. Who cares what Anatolia is doing? If you're not involved with it and you're not playing and interacting with Anatolia, I think that's actually better for you. I think it's healthy for you. Anatolia is an exception when it comes to like cringy, edgy 12 to 13 year olds. Like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, well, we're 12, 13, whatever, 12 to 14. And yeah, some of us did have like that edgy phase where we're like, ooh, edgy stuff is cool and all hot topic, change, you know, but not putting Columbine into your TTRPGs. Like, what the hell? That's beyond edgy. That's insane. Anatolia then stopped playing games completely after Homer started actively making fun of him in Wish, with Italian stereotypes after Anatolia called Wish poorly made, along with Homer claiming that Anatolia crapped his pants during a 2-week-long trek at a scout ranch called Philmont, which couldn't be verified since everyone else on the trek barely bothered to show up. During the 2020 pandemic, Anatolia then ran for SPL against Homer and became it by mass emailing inactive scouts in the troop, setting up a troop Discord server to organize Zoom meetings. This caused Homer to join another person's, James, who made the dreaded Gas Station Post RPG server, which became more active than the Scout server after Homer and James were muted by him. Anatolia then reached his term limit and had to step down, with Homer winning the next SPL election. Anatolia said Dynaman as the next SPL on the server, but Homer and Dynaman worked it out and Homer permanently banned Anatolia from the Discord server. This was the last time we ever saw Anatolia. RPGs in our troop now certainly are better, sometimes they're mid and have drama, and RPG server is completely dead by now, but nothing comparable to Joe's Gas Station's BS. Hope you enjoyed reading this. Wow, that was crazy. You know, the one thing I will say is, as somebody who's been in Boy Scouts, man, I wish I learned TTRPGs through Boy Scouts. Not Joe's Gas Station, but like, I wish somebody was hosting a D&D session and I could learn D&D back then. Dude, I'm such a latecomer to D&D and TTRPGs in general. I started in like very, very late 2021, like December, I think it was December. It was like maybe fall, very late 2021. I am so new to TTRPGs, like crazy new. But maybe I dodged the bullet. But maybe I dodged the bullet because maybe I would have accidentally encountered my own Joe's Gas Station. And then that would be terrible. And you know what? Joe's Gas Station doesn't sound fun. At all. Someone fricked a wolf. Okay, dude, these posts are getting insane. Why am I getting constantly these posts about insane things? This one is going to be short, I promise. And obligatory, the following names are fake. A few years back, my high school had a tactical games club. This name was the way the teacher in charge managed to get a D&D TCG board game club approved, but it was still on somewhat thin ice. So he was very clear in iterating that the club would say school appropriate and game shenanigans would avoid vulgarity and excessive violence. Cut to after school, the several parties are divided between a couple of classrooms and the games are all underway. 2-ish hours go by, and basically every group has wrapped up and met back in the main room. One is still playing. Everyone else has started talking about what went down during the session. Suddenly, the door flies open and a freshman girl from the other group comes running in shouting, "Matt f***ed the wolf!" Then the rest of the party comes in, including Matt, with another one saying, "He used the net and then there was a knockout poison," and before the teacher told him to stop talking. We were all asked to leave, despite protests to hear the story. Matt wasn't ejected from the club, but he was now on a final warning and had to be part of the teacher's party. The DM who facilitated the action was also warned. Canonically, what he claimed he said was, "The wolf is now unconscious and isn't a threat," without even acknowledging Matt's claim that he screwed the wolf. Screwed the pooch? I guess in that way, I don't like saying it, but I guess in that way, screwed the pooch is the most censored way I can say it without... There's no censored way to say it. It's terrible. There is no way to censor it. There really is no way to say it. Matt literally went and fucked a wolf. What are you doing, Matt? Why? Matt just insisted it, and the rest of the party thought it was so insane and funny that it became their personal canon. That club kinda sucked. Well, I mean, I guess at least you have a memory from now on about some kid named Matt fucking a wolf. And with that, that's gonna be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales Tomorrow. Bye-bye.